Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and the projects continue as the pandemic continues. And I'm going to preview for you some recently received items in my shop, items that I will work on, some of which will make it to video, and some of them that just have some nice stories behind it and the like. So if you see any of these reels that you find interesting and you would like me to work on or do a video on, please let me know, and what I will do is I will try to make a video as I go to service the reel. For those of you that are first responders and essential personnel, thank you for all it is that you do during this pandemic. We do appreciate all of your efforts trying to keep us safe and restore us to health if we have the virus. And if you're not a first responder or essential personnel, then please do your part. Wear the masks. Maintain the social distancing, be cognizant of where you are and what you're doing at all times, and try to eliminate the spread. So with that, let's get started then. The first one came in from Andy. Andy had a 306 Mitchell. It's kind of the size down from the 302, and I'm never quite sure how Mitchell ever figured out their branding in terms of numbers, but the 300 was smaller than the 302. The 306 is smaller than the 302. 302 in the middle there. Who knows? But at any rate, Andy asked me to restore the bail function on this and clean it up. He got this from an elderly friend, and he would like it restored. So I've done a video on the 306, and I'll be working on that one for Andy. The second one up then came to me from David in North Carolina. David sent me 4 Penn 10 reels, and I like the Penn 10. I think of all of those in that frame, the Penn 10 is one of the nicest ones. It's kind of a morph between the Penn 9 and a squitter with a level wind function on it. It's a beautiful little reel. It has an override feature for those that were made after the first year. The first year, for whatever reason, did not have an override feature to the anti-reverse, and this is an example of one of those. So you can tell the date on a Penn 10. If you do not have that override for the anti-reverse, then that's the earlier model, and I believe it was only around for 1 year, and then Penn changed the design of these to a squitter-like override on that side to allow you to backpedal the reel and to save drags. So Penn 10s I've done. I don't think I'll do a video on those, but we'll see. Next up then, this one just arrived in the nick of time. This one comes from a friend in Hawaii, so aloha, and let's see what we have inside. This one comes. And I think if I remember the story behind this one, the fella lived not far from me before he decided to move to paradise. Okay, so we have a Mitchell. You can tell from the onset. It appears to be a 302. And it looks like a 302 that's missing some parts. So I've done the 302. I'm going to be happy to work on this one for him. And we'll find that button and the drag stack there. So a good thing to know about Mitchells, if you have any questions about where to get these schematics for these reels, there's a website out there called The Mitchell Museum, and it shows the drag stack. And in this case, well, sometimes you can find it, sometimes you're lucky enough to see that there's a label on the bottom that shows that drag stack. But if your reel doesn't have that label on it and you've got the drags out of the reel and you're trying to figure out how they go back in, well, that Mitchell Museum will be the place where you can find that information. Here's, looks like some of the drags in there. Good. So I'll be working on that one, but again, I've done a 302, so I don't intend to do a video there. Next up was brought in by a local, one of my friends from high school, actually, been around a long time. This is Everyman Shakespeare. This one happens to be a Shakespeare Encore. The reel is very similar in nature to the old Shakespeare Prius and the Tidewater or Big Water reels. This one's got a lot of greening on it. It's been sitting on the boat for a while. He said something happened with this reel that it just got to sit, and we'll see if we do one on this one or not. I know I've done a lot on the alphas and that lately. So this one I will do one on. This one is a vet. It's the SX 5.3. A lot of vet fans out there, they were one of the first with the narrow platform braid ready reels. And as you can see, we've got line trapped inside the case. And normally that's fairly easy to take off and kind of free, but he thinks something else is going on there as well. So it's time for a cleanup, a service, and a rebuild, and of course clearing out that line that got trapped in there. So this one will make it to video, and for those of you that have the Yvette reels, please stay tuned. You'll see that one shortly. All right, next up then comes from, so let's see where this one comes from. This one comes from Dan, and I know Dan has contacted me with this. We have 3 Penn Pier 309s. This one's in beautiful condition, however it has a cracked side plate, so generally speaking that side plate has to be repaired. And then we have 2 others in lesser condition from what I understand. Well, he's got an interesting description of lesser condition. That's chrome and everything's bright and shiny there, that need to be reworked. So maybe this is the one that quote-unquote is lesser condition. But at any rate, he said one of these is not working well, needs to be cleaned up. Can I make 2 out of 1? I'm going to see if I can't find the side plate for him, because I'm pretty sure that we can restore all of these reels, and it'll just be a matter of time. So 3 Penn 309s. I'm not certain if I've done one, so we may go ahead and do that. Next up then comes from David. David sent me a Cabelas Sea Stalker. This is a reel that you would typically find in a combination. Cabelas is part of the Bass Pro store chain now. The 2 were independent and competitors, but they merged. This one had a bad bail function. I went ahead and resolved that. And what I thought I would do on this one, since I haven't done it, and it is a fairly common reel, is I'll go ahead and take this reel apart. I'll do a video on this one, and those of you that have a Salt Striker SS40B or any of the Salt Striker lines, I wanted to say shaker there, you can stay tuned, and we'll show you how to do that one, and we will make a video on that one for sure. And as you can see, I get an eclectic bunch of reels in. I think we actually got a comment on that one. Here's a bilge rat. So we're not quite sure where, other than the bilge, this possibly could have been sitting, unless somebody pulled it up from the bottom of the ocean. And I don't think even at the bottom of the ocean would corrode a reel this badly. So this is a Daiwa D-Wave reel. It's not a very expensive reel. I think retailing it might be $20 to $30, somewhere in there. Surprisingly, it works fine, or at least it appears to work fine. Cosmetically, whoop, that bail didn't seem too good. Well, trips. Cosmetically, it's a mess. I think that probably tells us a little bit about what's going on with the reel itself in terms of the materials used. We have serious pitting and corrosion throughout this reel. Things that should be metal, I think that's probably just all flaked off. Whatever this coating is on the spool, it just is indicative of the types of material used. We have a rusted bail, so that just says that that's a steel bail as opposed to a stainless steel bail. But it's working. So, you know what? This is Second Chance Tackle. We like to give all of the reels a second chance. I'm going to take this one apart. We'll do our best to clean it up. Maybe we'll make an example of this with the ultrasonic cleaner. We'll see what it can take off. Ultrasonic cleaners, interestingly enough, sometimes remove decals and sometimes dull the paint. Well, this is a good place to try that, because I don't think it can get any worse cosmetically. So let's put this one aside as a project that we can do to deal with that. And finally, there's a reel that I previewed earlier that I intend to do this week. and as long as the parts come in. This is a Shimano Calcutta. It's a left-hand sided reel. It's the 251. It has the narrow frame, and this one has a bad anti-reverse. It's just not grabbing, as you can see. Now, earlier on when I first previewed this, I said we're not quite sure. Now we're sure. I had a couple of minutes the other day. I took the side plate off, and it's actually missing a needle bearing inside. Now, how it missed it and where that needle bearing went, anybody's guess. I suspect that whoever owned this reel prior probably took it apart. That bearing shot out. They never could find it. They put it back up, and they sold it off as a parts reel on eBay. I went ahead. I ordered that part. It's available on eReplacementParts.com. I expect that to come momentarily, and when it does, we will do this reel as a video. I like the Calcuttas as a general statement. I intend to fish this one. I like left-handed round bait casters when I'm surf fishing, and I like the Shimanos as a general statement. So we're going to go ahead and do that one near term. So those are the previews for the pandemic projects coming up this week. There's always more. They always seem to work their way in. My desk seems to be loaded with these. Here's one that I'm going to do this week. It was a prior request as well. This is a Daiwa graphite reel. It's got the rear wheel drag. This one is the AG 2050. It's a 50 size, which is a little bit larger for a rear drag fishing reel. It also does not have the easy cast function. Most of the rear drag reels, I was just checking the bail. Most of the rear drag fishing reels have that little snap release where it always returns to the fore of that so that you can use your finger to cast. This one does not, and that's I think a fairly common thing with the bigger ones. If you go to the Cardinal series by Abu that have the rear drags, they don't have them as well. So that's it. If you saw any of these that you would like me to do a video on, and maybe I've said I haven't or wasn't going to do that, then let me know. Drop me a line, and if I have the time, I will do those as videos in addition to the ones that I've shown you. So please stay safe, stay well, stay watching. If you have any questions about any fishing reels, or you would like to see any of these as videos, please leave them in the comments section. If you enjoy this video and want to see more of them, please subscribe. I need subscribers. That's what keeps my channel vibrant. And regardless of what, please stay safe, stay healthy, stay out of harm's way with this pandemic, and have a great day. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Thank you for watching.